Hey there, hope your day is going well. Today I wanted to help walk you guys through the XCOM modding process for your Steam version of the game specifically, as I myself found the process to be a little confusing initially, and I just wanted to share what I did to get it working for myself, because as you may have noticed, the 2K launcher is not a fan of modding XCOM 2. I don't know why they did that to us. So in order to mod your XCOM 2 easily and quickly while still using the Steam Workshop, I personally use and recommend the AML. But before we dive into how to do that, let me slightly explain what an AML is, just so you kinda know what's going into your computer. Now, there are a lot of things that use the acronym AML as an anti-money laundering, but we're obviously not talking about that, I don't think. We're talking about the alternate mod launcher, developed specifically by the community for XCOM 2 modding. It essentially streamlines the built-in settings that XCOM 2's built-in mod launcher does, fixing a lot of the common grievances with it, as well as just making it work at all. Now, I'm not really a techie guy, so take most of techie things I say with a grain of salt. I read them somewhere, cross-referenced them, tried to be as thorough as possible to make sure I know what I'm saying, but I'm not a super techie guy. Just think you should know that up front. One thing I do know is that GitHub is typically considered pretty safe, assuming you're careful and keep track of if the program is well rated by multiple people, has good comments, you know, the normal internet safety rules. You can't really go wrong with GitHub. The AML I used was the one I cross-referenced to find to be safe and commonly used across the XCOM 2 community. I've linked it below to make sure you don't get lost on your way to it, but if you want to cross-reference as well, it couldn't hurt. One final note before we move on, you can use some mods, but not all in a saved game file. So I would recommend being prepared to start an entirely new save if you want to make sure that your mods are going to be working properly. Alright, let's get on to how you use the AML and get your mods working. This process is relatively quick and easy, so don't worry. The first step is to download the AML from the GitHub link in the provided description below. I'm sure that's a shocking step. Be sure you are downloading the launcher itself, not the source code, as shown in the footage you're currently seeing. Extract the files from the folder to wherever you'd like on your computer and launch the app. Finally, you will select the options in the AML, go to settings, and set its paths to the XCOM 2 game directory, local mods folder, and workshop modding folder. Now, the only other step is to find some mods you really love and subscribe to them on Steam Workshop for XCOM 2. Looking through the workshop page, you'll find all kinds of excellent mods. Once you select one or a couple that you like, you click the subscribe button, the little green one. I'm not talking about my subscribe button, which would have been a really smooth segue if I thought about it, but if you do want to click that one, I mean, I'd appreciate it. Now, be sure that the mods that you pick don't conflict with any of the others that you would like. Most prominent mods will tell you in their description if they have mods that they conflict with, and the AML itself will typically let you know if there's an issue between two mods. But it isn't always correct, and it doesn't always catch them. But it's right, I would say, about 90% of the time. The other important thing is to make sure you have all the preliminaries for your chosen mod. Steam will typically have a pop-up that will tell you which mods it needs to make it run correctly. If it doesn't, you can always check right over here and just download them this way. I would also like to stress to always take a look at the mod description. Sometimes it has valuable information on how to make the mod work correctly just in general, so it's good to keep track of. At this point though, you should be able to get your mods downloaded and hit launch to start playing. Now, to refresh myself on this process, I worked with a friend of the channel, Scarab Enterprises. So let's check in on him and see how his modding is going, and see if he has had any issues that could maybe help you out should you also run into them. Although if you've already followed the previous steps on this video, you're good to go and you don't gotta watch any more of this. You're free. And if you are popping out now, I hope you have a lovely day and don't die. But for the rest of you, let's get on with the rest of this video. So, Scarab, how are you doing?
I exist.
Poetic.
XCOM 2. I love XCOM 2. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I love turn-based strategy ever since like Dungeons and Dragons and all that sort of stuff. Hence why I'm playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 at the moment. But XCOM 2, I've played XCOM Enemy Within and Enemy Unknown, and also the one we don't talk about, which is, what was it, XCOM Declassified or something?
I'm gonna just not think about it, I think.
But what I'm saying is I played them all to death, and that's why I kind of like as soon as we started talking, you were just like, oh man, XCOM 2, and I'm like, yeah, I want to mod it at some stage, and you're like, I've already got it modded. I'm like, what? So I literally, because of you, bought it on PC because I had no goddamn clue how to mod it. But it added more flavor to a game that I already love, and now it's like added on extra hundreds and hundreds of hours if I choose to do that.
Yeah. No, yeah, one of the best things about XCOM 2, like the game's already fantastic, but like adding on the community has done so goddamn much, and are continuing to, that are just like makes the game so good. So I do have 4 questions that I've got for you today in relation to your modding setup. So you've had your modding setup for about like, what was it, like a month or 2 now?
It's been a while, but I haven't gotten around to playing it too much. So the gameplay that I've got is very early, because I haven't had a lot of time to play it. But from what I've played, I've really enjoyed.
Awesome. No, so have you run into any issues or complications while modding with the game?
Yes, actually. There's a couple of mods that I can't remember the names of, but there was a couple of mods that did not gel well together, and that was to do with the UI. So because a lot of the mods that I currently have are like clothing based and weapon based and all that sort of stuff, and also like just customizing your squad in general or increasing the size of your squad or all of that, I think I had to delete a few of them. I think I had to delete the one that increases your squad size and delete the one that fixes or simplifies the UI to make it so then everything is on screen at once, because it wouldn't work. It would crash every single time. Anytime I tried to access my character's loadout, it would crash.
Gotcha.
So I had to go through individually and check out. I think I got like 15 mods or something installed at the moment. But yeah, I had to go through and individually figure out what was going on, and I found out it was the modified UI trying to simplify things, which actually complicated things and made it worse.
Yep. Yeah. So
the only other problem is there's one with the clothing mods, I think, is interfering with something, and it just makes the UI a bit too big, and then you can't scroll all the way down. But outside of that, like, I mean, it's still functional. But yeah, I think I'm missing out on a couple of outfits just because I literally can't see the bottom.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely probably the biggest thing about modding XCOM is that there is a lot of trial and error that does take place. Especially, like, one of the biggest things that I did mention earlier in this video is to definitely read through the descriptions of each mod, because a lot of the times they'll tell you which mods they struggle with or which mods they don't really work with. Or and the AML tends to be pretty good at sussing out the ones that are having issues, but sometimes it doesn't catch it when it's like it typically catches it when it like has game startup problems, less when it has.
Yeah. I mean, I did do that. I did read through, and it seemed like everything was going to work. It just didn't. So
Yep.
I mean, it could just be one of those things where like one of the mods got updated and then doesn't gel.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of trial and error that does take place with modding XCOM 2, especially since, you know, it's all indie developers, so it's not all going to be perfect. My second question for you is, do you have any, like, what's your favorite mod that you've used?
M1 Garand.
M1 Garand?
Yes.
I don't think I even have that one. Ooh, what is it?
I like hearing the ping, man. It's the freaking World War II weapon.
Oh, yeah.
Pop, ping! I love that stuff, man. I got footage of the ping for you.
Oh, and if you guys want to see more XCOM mods that I recommend, we are going to be doing a top 10 XCOM mods video coming up in the next week, just so you guys are aware. Edited audio-wise by our lovely Scarab, who's here right now, obviously.
Ooh, exciting!
He did a fantastic job, and the video is turning out really good, so I'm very excited for you guys to see that as well. So, next question for you, Scarab.
Yes.
Do you find the AML easy to use, and would you recommend it to others? This is starting to sound like an ad, but...
I think it's not going to be a tangent, but I do need to say something.
Yeah.
I've found in a couple of games, you can just, like, for example, Ready or Not, right? You go into Ready or Not, and there is just a place you can download mods, and it just works, man.
Yep.
That's the best way to do mods. But because, I guess, firaxis didn't...
they said fuck you.
Didn't really, you know, have like, proper Steam community support. What do you call it? Is it Steam community, or was it?
Workshop.
Workshop, that's the one. It doesn't have Steam Workshop support, so it's... I mean, it was released before it was massively popular, so...
Yeah.
It's not the easiest to use. It will deter a lot of people because it's, you know, it's more than just one step. But I think that overall it's worth it.
All right, final question. Do you have any warnings for people new to modding their XCOM 2? Which kind of connects with the last one, but...
yeah, I would just say keep an eye out for mods that don't work together. Experiment, see what you want. Like, go into it thinking blank slate. Like, go, what do I want out of my XCOM 2 experience? Do I want more guns? Do I want more armor? If you want more quality of life improvements to the game, because that is a big deal when it comes to XCOM 2. There's a lot of waiting and stuff that can get cut out with mods, which is really, really handy.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Extract All mod.
So
I've
good.
also got footage of that. But yeah, that was incredibly handy, and it just saves a lot of time going tab, extract, tab, extract, tab, extract.
Yep.
You know, you can just do it in one click, and then that way it gets you... I think the big problem with XCOM 2 in general was that it takes a long time to do pretty much anything.
Yep.
So shortening the BS, you can actually get to the gameplay a lot faster. Get to battles, get to, you know, the game screen and the upgrading of your ship and everything a lot faster if you have the quality of life mod. So I think that you need to figure out what you want and then go in with a blank slate mind and then just go, hey, let's experiment, and then see what works for you, see what works in conjunction with other mods, and then just have fun. So yeah, just quality of life and then realism for me. But for anyone else, like, you can do anything. You want to be a Barbie doll, go for it.
Yep. Feeling a little salacious, there's plenty of mods for it.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, you can pretty much do. The community is awesome as well, just in general. And yeah, a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. So have fun out there, guys. Enjoy your modding. Stay safe. Do you want to say the outro?
Subscribe.
There we go. And have a good day, as always. And don't die.
Don't you dare die! Ah!